All right. Welcome back, everyone. And as always, it's so good to be here with you today, and thanks for tuning in. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Chris Halstead, Managing Director of Sales for Brown Harris Stevens, Connecticut. And each month, I give a recap of what's happening in the Lower Fairfield County real estate market. Now, today, specifically, I'll be discussing what we saw in the month of January, the first month of 2026. Now, although it's never a surefire indicator of what lays ahead for the coming year, I always find it interesting to see how the market kicks off every year and to see whether there's any hint of what's to come. Before we get rolling on the market, and as is always my great pleasure, I'm so thrilled to introduce you to one of our brand new listings here in New Canaan, listed by our spectacular agent, Skylar Morris. But before I fill you in on the details of this beautiful home, I wanted to throw in a quick little asterisk without giving too much away on what's to come later in the meat of the report. Coordinating to film in a new listing between the time the home comes on the market and before it goes into contract is nearly impossible. I'm lucky if I have even a few days to try and coordinate anything. All right, on to the home. 719 Valley Road is an enchanting circa 1900 sun-filled home that has been beautifully updated with all the modern amenities while being careful to preserve its classic character and charm. Situated on 3.6 private acres, the home offers gorgeous views of the picturesque Paradise Pond and the Silvermine River. The sophisticated and inviting open floor plan is perfect for easy living and entertaining, centered around a gorgeous open kitchen and sunken adjacent family room. The first floor also has a rare and well-appointed primary suite. Upstairs, you'll find 4 additional bedrooms, offering plenty of room to accommodate a full house. 2 terraces function as outdoor living rooms and provide the perfect place to look out over this incredible property. All right, moving along. Let's take a look at how the market kicked off 2026. As is tradition, let's touch on inventory. I like to get the tough one done first. If you watched last month's report where I wrapped up 2025, you'll remember I said that Lower Fairfield County's housing market was largely defined by a severe lack of inventory. Throughout the course of the year, we saw deep year-over-year declines in available home stock. Already on a downward trend, and considering there's been no major macroeconomic shift or policy change to cause a change in direction, compounded with one of the coldest and snowiest Januaries in recent memory, it shouldn't come as a surprise that inventory continued on its downward track. At the end of the month, active house listings were down 15% year-over-year. Now, I was curious to see how this compared to what I reported in January last year, so I looked back at last year's report. And at the month of January 25, housing ended the month down 13% lower than 24. That means for 2 years in a row, we're starting the year off double digits below the year prior. Not great. In addition to active house inventory being down, new listings coming online throughout the month of January, which would typically backfill inventory as it moves to contract signed, was down 20% year over year. So as of now, I'm expecting February numbers to follow suit. Let's move on to something a little more uplifting. Despite historically low inventory, there were 199 house sales in the month of January, a mark roughly in line with the numbers posted the past 2 years. As for these closings, and in contrast to the downward inventory trend, sales figures are all headed up. Looking at closed figures, both the median and average sales price across the 12 towns was yet again at record highs. The median clocking in at $1.3 million and the average crossing the $2.2 million mark for the first time ever. The high end of the market continues to be on fire, with 18 houses closing over $5 million, the highest January total on record, including the sale of 45 Binney Lane in Old Greenwich, which closed for $27.8 million, a record sale for Old Greenwich. With little to choose from, the market remains incredibly competitive. So far, low inventory hasn't significantly driven buyers out, and competition is fierce. January's list to sale price for houses was 103.2%, a record for the month, with just over half of the houses on the market going for over the listing price. And as for pace, and I already hinted at this when I introduced Skylar's listing at the beginning of the show, house closings posted a median time on market of just 24 days. Again, a record for the month of January. Short of the long, this is a market made up of records. Record low inventory, record high closing prices, record low days on market. I honestly can't remember the last month where there hasn't been some kind of record achieved. Now, all joking aside, every indication we have from the market so far this year is that for the foreseeable future, it will remain strongly a seller's market. Demand continues to outpace supply, as it has for many years running. And despite closing prices continuing to hit record numbers, there's no sign of wavering in market confidence. It will be interesting to see how the year pans out, but until we find that magic bullet that brings on more homes and slows the pace of things down a little, I think this is our norm. For all of you maybe sellers out there, I expect it's going to be an explosive spring. If there was ever a time to sell, you might want to consider it. Okay, let's bring it home touching on mortgages. Some more positive news here. The 30-year fixed mortgage averaged 6.1% throughout the course of the month in comparison to 6.95% from a year ago, providing a more supportive lending backdrop as the year begins. And as of now, it looks like rates will remain relatively steady through at least the first quarter of 26. A quick word of advice to those of you buyers waiting for rates to get just a little better. Have your mortgage broker run your monthly payment with the 6.1% and the price you'll pay for a home now versus a rate in the 5s with prices having increased another 10%. My guess is you'll kick yourself for not having jumped into the market sooner. All right, everybody, that's it for January. As always, thanks for joining me today. If it was your first time watching, it's great to have you and I hope you'll be back. For those of you who watch regularly, thank you for your continued support. I'll be back next month to take a look at how the Fairfield County market fared throughout the month of February. In the meantime, if you have any questions or need help, please be in touch with me or any one of our Brown Harris Stevens agents. And as always, for more in-depth market statistics, please visit our Mastery of Connecticut webpage where you'll find all of Brian Cleary's town-by-town reports. So long, everybody, and see you soon.